So you want to work a help desk? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's an interesting question I got the other day. What would you suggest I share with a new employee to best prepare them for a career in help desk support? Like I said, it really struck me as interesting. For one reason, what is Ask Leo but a glorified help desk? So as you can imagine, I have opinions. It's more about people than it is about technology. I'm going to assume that your protege has the knowledge required to do the job. I have some knowledge-based suggestions, but honestly, that's not the part that typically needs the most work. If you've ever called a help desk or a customer support center, you'll understand that people skills are often lacking. When we encounter a shining example of help desk support, it's the people skills we really end up appreciating. That's where I'll start. Empathy. Learn to develop empathy for the people seeking your help. It's important to understand that, they're just trying to get their work done, and the technology has somehow interfered with that. They've probably already spent some time, likely time they consider wasted, to resolve the issue on their own before reaching out. So they're often frustrated by the time they come to you. The more that you can show that you understand the position they're in, the better received you're going to be. Honestly, most people, they're not interested in the whys and the how. They just want an answer. It's like I say on my About page. They just want it to work. They just want to fix their predicament so that they can move on and get their job done. If my drill stops working, I don't want to know about its inner workings. I just want it fixed. Now, at Ask Leo, I answer questions and I sneak in a little education when they aren't looking. Education is often not what they want, but it can help them avoid future problems. When someone hands me my repair drill, for example, and tells me that there was a way to easily resolve the issue on my own, that might be worthwhile, even if it requires a little understanding of the tool. A little empathy can help a frustrated computer user be open to a little education. Now, there's this thing called the curse of knowledge. It's really easy to overestimate what other people know because you know it, and you assume that that knowledge is there in others, or you don't even think that it might not be. Most people are actually reluctant to admit they don't know something, so you can't really assume that they're following your response. An improperly targeted answer is as useless as no answer at all. It's also important not to come across as condescending. It's a fine line to walk sometimes, but it is something that develops with experience. Do what you can to develop a thick skin. People will take out their frustrations on you. They absolutely will. The vast majority of the time, it's not about you. It's the situation they find themselves in. Particularly if there's no answer, it's common to shoot the messenger. Empathy enters here again, but this time use it to protect your own sanity by understanding that it's not personal. It's the situation. Yes, I know, some people are jerks, but you know what? They're surprisingly rarer than you might think. Either way, you're likely to receive some negative feedback from time to time about your company, the product you're supporting, yourself. Trust me on this. You must be able to let that slide. When I reach out to a help desk, I don't care where they are or what they sound like. What I care about is that they can understand me and that I can understand them. Then, and only then, do I care about their ability to answer my question. It's all about communication. You need to use your customer's language. Now, I mean that both literally, but within the domain of support you're giving. It's not helpful if you use domain-specific terminology your customer can't understand. You might as well be speaking a foreign language because in a very, very real sense, you are. If they can't understand you for any reason, you have failed before you've even begun. Now, on a more practical note, prioritization is going to become a key skill for you. Depending on the load and what Helpdesk isn't overloaded, some problems are just more important than others. You'll need to identify them and deal with them appropriately. But you'll also need to gracefully handle the folks whose help is being delayed by the higher priority issues. You don't want to leave the lower priority folks hanging, but sometimes they might need to wait a little longer. At an extremely pragmatic level, some people are more important than others as well. I'm not going to go too much into that because honestly, this verges on company politics more than your tech skills. Save your work. If you've got the ability, create a FAQ or something so that people can help themselves. And let's face it, askleo.com is really just my giant FAQ, and I point people to existing answers here all the time. Even if you don't have a public-facing FAQ, it's going to be helpful to have a set of stock answers, pre-written and ready to be copy-pasted or tweaked if needed. I have several, because there are a lot of questions I get over and over and over again. And combined with a couple of keystroke macros, they're just a couple of keystrokes or clicks away. Along those same lines, invest in the tools you're using. Learn the tools you've been given and/or add tools, like keystroke macros, to make your job easier. Most help desks have a ticketing system of some sort, and I use something very similar for Ask Leo questions. This allows me to track multiple simultaneous conversations without losing my mind. But it's also designed to help multiple agents, so my assistants can help as well. Traditional advice is to develop step-by-step methodologies to diagnose problems. That's great as far as it goes. I think we've all encountered those situations where we're talking to somebody on the phone and it's clear they're following a script. That script is their step-by-step methodology. It's frustrating when they don't know how to divert from it. But you'll also want to brush up on your research skills. I can guarantee you that as much as you think you know, you will be asked something that you don't. Often, knowing how to find those answers anyway may be more important than how many answers you already know. This is an exciting time since AI is proving to be very useful in hunting down answers from around the internet. It can't be completely trusted, but that's why you will always have a job to vet those answers and then translate them into something your customer can understand. One other thing you'll develop, and perhaps you have already, is what I'm going to call a sixth sense that will fly in the face actually of many of those methodologies and even some of your research. It's not uncommon for me to get a question and almost immediately think, oh yeah, that feels like this. This intuition often allows me to bypass the formal steps and zero in on a solution much more quickly. It's a sense that develops with experience. And I'm certain it's the unconscious mind at work. If you feel it, learn to pay attention to it. But just as importantly, never assume you're always right. You're not. So, bottom line, as I said, Ask Leo is as close to being a help desk as is possible, I think, and I'm excited you're considering that kind of a role. I can tell you from experience that it can be exceptionally rewarding. Just keep in mind that while understanding what you're supporting is critical, so is understanding and communicating with the people who are coming to you for help. For updates, for comments, for links to related topics and more, visit askleo.com/175621. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.